Episode 44 of the Long Haul podcast. I'm Nine. I'm joined by Carrie. Hello, everyone. Another episode to discuss the current scene of Artifact 2.0 beta. How are you doing, dude?
Hot, tired, completely wasted. Water, please.
Yeah, I hear it's extremely hot over there.
I'm melting and you're drinking like hot tea. Come on. What the hell, universe?
I don't know what the current temperature here is, but it's quite pleasant, and I can really tell that the days are getting shorter because at this time a few weeks ago it would be still light outside, and now it's getting dark again. So you can feel the summer is slowly getting shorter, even though it's just in July. So yeah, just the usual stuff. In terms of Artifact news right now, it has been, I would say, a rather slow week. We recorded last week, and after that, there was a small patch. We're going to go through that. Otherwise, this week, obviously, as always, we get a bit of the survey results regarding the large items, what we ended up discussing last week. And we'll delve and we'll talk about random stuff that pops up during the conversation, because it's going to be more of a freestyle conversation this week. I feel like we had made a bunch of suggestions. People, in general, did a lot of suggestions for heroes. And before we talk about the items, I think would be interesting to go through the list of the patch for the 16th of July. First thing to say, and I was playing a couple of games before this, and also this week I've played a bunch of draft. They've added some sort of synergy system to the deck generator in Hero Draft, which is interesting, and at least for some colors like green and blue, I think it's been working quite well. I feel like blue has gotten a lot of strength because of this synergy system, as well as from some of the hero buffs. I think just a couple of points that I would say. I've been getting the impression that some heroes, like for example Lady Anshu and Rix, because of this new synergy system, I have the impression that almost every time, or at least very often, when you pick these heroes, you're gonna get access to bracers in the shop. I don't know if anyone else in the community has been feeling that, or if Valve is aware of it, but at least I personally felt like I value Lady Anshu really high in draft, and I've been very consistently getting bracers on her. But the bracers did get slightly nerfed, so
and that is why you get them more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's purely a synergy thing. They probably added. I don't know how the synergy system exactly works, but I think it might be related to the synergy between rapid deploy and bracers. Yeah. So I think some interesting things to point out, since we don't want to make this like a really deep dive. Something that strikes me as really important to talk about is the Wild Wing Bait card, which used to be a creep that made your own creeps, like in that lane, become 3/4 creatures. Now it's a tower enchantment. This seems really strong because of multiple reasons. First of all, it's much easier to kill a creep than it is to kill a tower enchantment, so it's more resistant. On the other hand, he no longer takes up a slot on the board, so there's like an additional free slot where a creep can come in, and this card has been seeming like really strong to me. And also, I've seen people on streams and in the game talking about the synergy between it and Kana, because if you drop this tower enchantment on a Kana lane,
it gets disgusting. Yes,
it gets very strong. I've played against that, and it felt very strong, which is fine. I'm not complaining about it. I just but I'm all for buffs.
It's cool because if I feel that since blue is like the color that doesn't have like the best creeps, you get like powerful enchantments that actually help you balance out that part. So it doesn't make you like inferior now by having to put like a 0-2 or 0-1 or 0-3 mob that gets smashed. And now it's like much harder to get rid of, and blue now has a fighting chance on the board and not just like how do you say? Oh God. It's not as dependable on spells when you can actually play. Well, this is a spell, so yeah, but you can actually play this on the lane and have a fighting chance against like creeps on the other side that get bombed by like red and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely worth talking about it. And if you guys haven't played it yet, go and play around with it, because it seems like it's one of the most interesting blue cards from the recent patch. That's a buff, and then we proceed on to some nerfs. I feels like they really wanted to hammer Nyx and DP after the surveys, and after I think it's general consensus, like we've talked about before, that just these were two of the strongest and are still two of the strongest heroes in the game. But Spiked Carapace was now nerfed to cost 2 mana, so it costs twice as much.
I think everyone can say that for 1 mana it was totally OP.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of thought it would be more interesting to like make the effect slightly stronger than increasing it to 2 mana. But having played with it, I think it's still fine at 2 mana, to be honest. The effect is so strong and it has so much synergy with other cards that I think it's still like really fine. For the most part, you're killing another hero for 2, and then if you have like cards like Gank or big items, it still has a lot of synergy, I think. So for 2 mana, it seems quite fine. But yeah, personally, I would have preferred to see some changes to the stun effect or to the duration of the effect. But whatever, I think this is fine. Let's try it out for a bit longer and see how it works. And I think more relevant is Exorcism's cost was increased to 8 until it gets a rework. So this is basically saying like this card doesn't work in its current form, and it's going to be reworked. Until then,
well, it works. It just works way too good.
Yeah, and I have played with it, and man, it feels there's just this the mana progression in the game right now. It just feels like at some point, after like a certain mana cost, after 6, 7 cards just become so overwhelmingly expensive that it's like not necessarily easy to find a spot to just blow a turn playing this big effect, because often this is the later stage in the game, and if you spend your whole turn in one effect, unless it's straight up winning you the game, it's very likely to blow up in your face. So yeah, I think this card definitely makes DP go down in the tier lists in terms of power. But obviously they are admitting that they're gonna make a rework. So we'll see. Maybe they can make it. I mean, I'm not sure how you could rework this. Haven't really given it much thought. Mm-hmm. But it will be interesting to see what they come up with.
But I don't think that just by going one mana up, I'd still say DP is like S tier. She's still just really good.
I just feel like now it works much better with like ramp effects rather than like waiting for you to naturally reach 8 mana, because it starts to get into the field of Time of Triumph where it's just way too expensive. And it is relevant having to wait one more turn, because in terms of Exorcism, that means 12 damage, and 12 damage is a lot. So I think those are overall the biggest changes. Like we've said, also Braces of Sacrifice cooldown increased to 2, so it was slightly nerfed. Mostly because of the rapid deploy interaction, which was pretty disgusting. And also we talked about this, also the interaction with Death Shields was very strong. I don't think the problem was Death Shields, though. I think the problem was definitely just the rapid deploy heroes. Being able to change lanes and keep jumping around and killing everything was just a bit too strong. Other than that, a couple of things that we actually talked about as potential suggestions that I would like to mention, like Shadow Wave Dazzle now increases or grants temporary health rather than healing if they are not damaged. So very good. I've played Dazzle in a draft today and I won, so I'm quite happy to say that Dazzle is.
I feel that Dazzle just this quality of life improvement just made like the hero from unplayable Saying good might be too soon, but I feel that just this change made the hero playable now. I mean, if you pick it up in draft, it just by having the ability to do this right now is just so good in my opinion.
I definitely think it makes him jump a bunch in terms of overall power, and especially in draft and like slower environments. I think Dazzle becomes way more viable, and I like to play around in draft and just like experiment. And my last 3-4 drafts, I've been experimenting more with these awkward green blue heroes, and I feel like they're in a much better spot. So I'm sure that Valve will want to get a few more weeks of data on these guys and then see how things work. So good for them. Some small bug fixes, etc. But yeah,
I'm just kind of surprised that they did not do anything about Dragon Knight yet. I mean, I think he was like top for all the bad things. And either they are rethinking the hero completely, or they just feel that they haven't got any suggestion that they consider good for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might be. I think it's one of those heroes where it's probably on the list of things to get to be reworked. I just imagine that. I don't know, man. I think we're estimating right now probably there's like maybe 10 to 15 devs on the artifact team. I cannot imagine that it's more than that. And the list of stuff to do must be so overwhelmingly large that even if something is on top of, even if something is like on your number one list of priorities, it's gonna be sitting on the pile for a while, I feel like. So yeah, we just gotta have patience. Yeah, I mean, we've been hammering on this. This is a very, very early beta, so there will be time for those things to all change into a better place, I feel like. Yeah, Chen also feels a bit better to me, etc. But overall, what I would say is Rapid Deploy got a small nerf. Blue got an overall buff.
Also, now you cannot abandon Venomancer. Yes.
Oh man, yeah. I played the game with actually. I think it was like one of the a second draft I did today. I had Dazzle and Venomancer. It feels definitely playable now. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, what am I doing playing these guys now? Now it feels like we're fighting.
They got buffed, and not buffed to the point of OP, because like you said, once you prefer to have everything OP than like nerfing stuff. They got buffed. They got 10 times better, and they're still not OP. So there's if they wanted to go even like crank it up to 11, they could even do that, and hardly they would get OP.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you want some advice, go practice some blue-green draft because it feels much better. I've been trying to get into Legendary. I'm almost there. I'm stuck at Immortal 3. Hopefully, I'll get there during my upcoming holidays. Let's jump to yesterday's post. That's the item review part 2. This post came a little bit delayed in comparison to the normal timing of the posts. I feel like speculation time, but I feel like
there's no tables. We got no tables this time.
There's no tables, and I feel like slowly we're coming towards maybe a big patch. I think everyone's like. That's the buzz that's going around is maybe like, oh, the posts are getting less descriptive. They're not asking for more service because we're done with that. So maybe the time will come where we're going to start getting big patches, and we'll touch on that again. But let's just quickly touch on the item survey 1 results. They say that in the range of 10 and 15 gold, Blink Dagger, Phase Boots, and Force Staff were the most popular items. I mean, I don't think anyone is really surprised by that.
I'm surprised with this one, yeah.
Yeah. The important part here is the biggest losers, Clazorim Hourglass, Hooknet, Demolishing Warhammer. I'm very surprised that people consider Demolishing Warhammer a loser.
I don't think people are used to picking it, to be honest, because the card. My first thought when I look at the card was like, yeah. But then you just you have to play with it and see how good it is. Because I mean, for 10 gold, it gives you like 5 damage on a tower if it's not blocked. It's really good.
I feel like it's really strong for the price of like the ratio of costs to damage is super effective. Like if you compare it to the 15 gold siege, the Red Mist Mall, it does the same amount of damage for less gold. Granted, if you're hitting the tower, but still, I get the feeling like the card shouldn't be put at the same level as Glazerim Hourglass and Hooknet. I agree for sure that Glazerim Hourglass had a specific role. Valve, after increasing the card draw to 1.5, decided to pull out all the card draw spells, or at least the vast majority of them. So all those cards were taken out or reworked. And obviously when that happens, Glazerim Hourglass becomes even worse. So the card basically has no niche right now. I mean, there's no real deck looking to use that effect or to deny that card draw effect to the opponent. And at the same time, like they say as well, is Glazerim Hourglass, the lock effect is just an effect that people kind of despise. People don't want to play against lock because it's frustrating. So yeah, not very surprised, and we're gonna certainly be seeing some sort of a rework or change to these items. They also put broadsword in there as well. Again, it's just kind of the boring effects that people don't seem to enjoy as much. People prefer the dynamic stuff and active ability thingies. So yeah, not super surprising, I think, right? Yeah, otherwise, we've discussed the 20, 25, and 30 gold items last week. There will be the survey going on this week, so go on and fill that up so that Valve gets our opinion on that. And I guess this is where the freestyle discussion begins. A couple of things that the community has been discussing at large this week. Jukebox, one of the community guys that tends to do data mining and so on, he uncovered a bunch of stuff. Among that stuff, which includes like there's some text files that talk about missions and like puzzles and things that are going to be potentially being developed for the single player aspect of the game. It looks like. I'm going to put up the image here. This banner, he found and showed me this banner. Basically, it's LC, Rix, and a bunch of bronze Legos. I'm presuming that this is going to be something related to the single-player campaign, maybe art for the single-player campaign, or if you wanna be more.
Isn't it the same image that they used for Call to Arms?
I don't think so, man. I think it looks like these are just the images of the cards from LC and Rix.
Yeah.
The bronze Legos, I don't feel like I've seen them before. In the single player campaign, when you play the missions, Rix is a red card. And because in the lore he plays alongside the Bronze Legion, so I presume that this is going to be related to that. But because there are some game modes that have been kind of discovered in these data mining efforts, it might also be related to these new game modes. But for now, we don't know. It is exciting to see that they are doing art, even though I presume this is still placeholder art because, like I said, this is just the art from the cards. But it is kind of a good feeling to see like that stuff is coming in and they're putting slowly more and more pieces into the puzzle. It is also at the same time kind of frustrating that we see the art before it's put in the game. You know, like the data mining has that bad side effect where you discover things before they are actually.
You're watching the trailer before you watch the movie.
Yeah, you're getting spoiled, and you don't know exactly what you're spoiling, but you're spoiling something. So it's kind of a perverse effect. So there's that. Reddit or Jukebox also found this image of a potential new board, and he posted it onto Reddit. And there was a bit of a discussion, and well, dude, I don't know. Listen, people are calling me out for being for being whatever you want to call it. I looked at this and I thought, why are they making a new board if it's not going to look like super brand new and super cool? Some people have said that this is maybe like a transition, just a transition texture until they figure out how the actual final board is going to look like. I personally feel like it's weird to be making transition textures, so I just thought, like, why would you why would you spend time doing a transition texture? Either you work on the final product, or otherwise you go do something more effective. It is obviously just a 2D texture, and this will in the final product be a 3D thing. But I can't help but be a bit like underwhelmed by this. I don't know what your reaction is. I know that you saw the Reddit post before.
Yeah, so you have a lot of ways to look at this. I mean, they already said that they have interest into having like season pass and stuff like that. This could be probably something to put on the season pass. This could actually be the main table that they'll use, and you'll get like variations with the season pass, like you get on Underlords, for example. So it's only natural that they play around with skins and stuff like that, because they cannot launch the game and then start working on goodies. So I don't know if this is, they might even have like one dev dedicated to something like this and the rest of the team doing other different stuff. So I wouldn't call it a transition. It can be, but this is data mining, so we'll never know unless the dev tells us or it just launches in the game. To me, it looks pretty much the same as we have now, but with different textures. Because, like, I don't know, I kind of liked the first table that we had, the format of the first table that we have, the box that opened and the things like that. I kind of thought it was cool. This one, the first time I looked at the tabletop that they're using on 2.0, I find it a bit weird. So any skin that looks like this to me is just more of the same of 2.0. And I don't want to sound like a bitch about it. I'm not moaning about this type of skin. I'm just saying that for me, this is like, meh, okay, sure. Goodies. If it's a skin or if it's a transition for like next month or next big patch, if it's 3D and stops being that unfinished tabletop that we have, anything will be better than that, because new is always better.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel, and I realize that stuff's gonna be glowing, the river's gonna be flowing, there's gonna be 3D towers, and there's gonna be like elevations and stuff. I don't know why, man. It's just my visceral reaction looking at this was just like, this feels really underwhelming. Something that bugs me a little bit too is that like this, because the board is so wide, because you have to have these like 15 cards on each side or 15 slots, whatever. It kind of feels like the proportions are off or something, man. I don't know how to explain it very well. It's just, I swear, like Jukebox sent me this, and I looked. In my first reaction, honest reaction was, why are they doing like? Because I just thought this looks like placeholder art again. Why are they putting new text? Why are they working on textures that are still placeholder? Or if this is the final board, I don't know, man. I really hope the final version, when it looks 3D and it has all the glowing stuff, I hope it looks better. But yeah.
It can be concept art. They can just be experimenting with how 3D stuff will work. That's the problem with data mining. You get this and you start creating theories about what it can be, what it can't be, what you don't like about it. I mean, this can just be like the tip of the iceberg, and we don't know. I mean, for me, it's okay. They might just be trying with concept arts. They might they might just be trying like the transition to a 3D stuff, and this might not even be the end version. This can be just like the initial sketch for 3D stuff. So for me, it's just like, this might not even be what we get in the final version of this map itself.
Yeah, and to be fair, I was just scrolling up here in our Discord, because we put up a picture of the board of the 1.0 game, and to be quite fair, it looks quite similar in terms of the color schemes, in terms of like this wooden effect on the board. When you actually compare it to how the 1.0 board would look like, it actually looks like it's quite similar. But I could not help but feel a little bit underwhelmed. Was hoping for something more like, like something that would blow my mind or something like that. And if you notice, I just put an image of the 1.0 board up. Like, I don't know, man. The wood here feels so much nicer. There's way more lava flowing in the back.
It's called a final product.
Exactly. I know.
You must wait.
I absolutely know. The other thing that also I wondered is about the board itself. Like you were saying, the board would open in 1.0 and then you would start the game. I wonder if they're going to keep those hinges and if they're going to keep the board opening effect. Yeah, somehow I hope the final product looks really exciting. I just but is the problem that I keep disappointing myself, where I have like super high expectations, and then when I get given these little gifts, I think I just expect too much. Like I have like always, my expectations are always too high.
You see, but this is the thing. I mean, we looked at the map. Okay, because Jukebox got the data mining, and now you gave feedback. At least I gave feedback, because I just said I'm okay with the map, but I really like the hinges and the map closing and the animations. And like, if more people eventually say stuff like this or other constructive stuff, they might go figure out, okay, oh wow, maybe we should like keep the same formula, or maybe the old formula wasn't that good, and all this type of information. And they have shown this. They listen to what the community's been saying.
For sure.
So as long as people keep giving feedback, I expect the team to just pick up on the ideas that they think will work better and just apply them.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've also considered after thinking about it a bit longer is we'll see if at some point we'll get the option to like zoom in onto the board, zoom out, and change kind of the perspective. Maybe we even get some control of the camera in the final product, and that probably helps to adjust the game view to something that like is more to my preference, or more to your preference, or more to everyone else's preference. So yeah, that will be interesting to see how things will go.
As long as they give us like a snow map like we had on Dota, everything is fine. that and Roshan showing up once in a while.
Yeah, I'm also curious about the coin. I wonder what they're going to be doing with the coin. I hope it looks at least as good as the coin in 1.1, because I really enjoyed the coin there. All right, another thing that I think, moving on, unless you want to talk about something else specific.
Keep going.
Something else that has been introduced in the game right now are new card backs. There's some art for new card backs, so I'm showing those right now on the screen. I don't know exactly what this symbol represents, but it is cool that they are adding stuff. And then, more interesting, it says this card back can be acquired by completing all achievements in the Chaos event. So there's going to be a Chaos event. And again, this is something that was also data mined in these text files. There seems to be some like Chaos missions stuff, which presumably will be single player, but actually I haven't taken enough time to dig into it. But it's cool that they're planning already for some events. What do you think of the card back? No opinion.
I invoke the fifth.
Exactly. You plead the fifth. All right.
Exactly. It's. I mean, the more like skins and goodies and stuff they put in, more people will get happy about it. To be honest, the design itself is pretty, but it's not something that makes me go, "Oh my god, I must have this one." Okay, probably there's other people that will look at it and say, "Oh my god, I must have it." I mean, if I look back at other card games that I played that had skins, it was the same thing. There was like stuff that I would say like, okay, this season the card back is boring, and the next season would be something that would blow my mind. They're still experimenting with card skins, so it's the graphics is cool, but it's not something that makes me go, oh my god, I must have it.
Yeah, I guess until you see what the whole package is of the chaos event and so on, maybe there's like super cool stuff inside, alternative art.
Make the symbol spin, and oh my god, I must have it.
Okay, I think we might get there at some point. Anyway,
make the triangle spin, and oh my god, I must have it.
I just wanted to show that people who maybe had not noticed that. In terms of otherwise the state of the game, I wanted to quickly talk about what's also going on here without trying to be too pessimistic or anything. I know people keep coming into the beta, people in our discords, people in other discords, people in the official discord. You could just keep getting the news. People on Reddit keep sharing the news. Oh, I got in. The numbers in the game are not growing, man, and it's I'm not sure at what point we need to be concerned about this. It is a very early beta. We have probably another year and a half or longer of working on the game. But I don't know, man. I was watching Lumi stream before. There were like 30, 40 people, which was pretty good for Artifact 2 until right now. But he stopped streaming. There was no one else streaming until I came up and prepared for the podcast. And it's just been consistently hovering over 100 people. It goes up on the weekend, then comes down again. Mm-hmm. There are 6 people in the constructed room right now. And yeah, man, I don't know. Like at some point it starts to become a bit...
yeah, but you got 6 people in constructed because constructor works like LFG, right? Mm-hmm. I think this will change once they make queuing system for constructed. Until then, it's only normal that this might happen because people can't be arsed to like be spamming 10 minutes looking for someone to play. So people will queue and limit it and play draft. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, it's easier to go up in rank if you play draft. So
I think the constructed matches don't count towards your rank. I could be wrong, but I don't think
another reason for I've said this before. I can understand that they wanted to put like a ladder system because a lot of the people wanted a ladder system. Mm-hmm. But doing so early in the beta just makes people funnel to limited and not play as much as. I mean, to be honest, 90% of the games that I played constructed, I would either whisper you or Pronto or someone else who I played before. Because the other 10%, I would go like looking for someone to play to test a deck, and then I'll have to wait like 10 minutes until someone would say, okay, I'll play you. So wait 10 minutes or wait 10 seconds and press Q for limited.
I really feel that something that would really help, besides obviously having a constructed queue, would be, I organized the tournament. When was it? I guess 2 weeks ago.
2 weekends ago. 2 weekends ago.
And you could really feel people were excited to join that, even though it was like a last minute organization thing. So maybe what we need also is maybe to get the community to start organizing some stuff. Let the community I feel like it's always the best is when you have like grassroots community movements and the community working for itself. So maybe it would be good that we start getting some community organized stuff because people want to play tournaments, and I guess at least to some degree Valve could copy the tournament system and just implement it right now in the beta so that we could start playing tournaments. I think that might be another sort of like progression or dynamic that could make people stay in the game or retain people, because I feel right now, despite all the waves and the people coming in, it kind of feels like people are playing a couple of games and probably getting tired and leaving, because it really feels like the numbers keep going up and dropping back down again where they should be hopefully or ideally they should be growing and getting steadily higher, and that doesn't seem to be happening. So
Yeah, but that also has to do with people getting okay. So the system is super fair when it comes to doing random keys, but the big drawback is some people get the key and they're not like super motivated like other people that actually want the key and still don't have it. So they go in the game, they like okay, looking for a group to construct it, and there's like 6 people, and so they give up, and then they go play little draft. They play like 2, 3, 4, 5 games, and then they get bored because most likely they got bored of the first version very early too, or B, because they look at the game and say, wow, this is still so unpolished, so I'm going to wait. And then you still have people who are craving for keys on the official Discord. So I think also, yes, it's summer and people are getting like in the beach, getting drunk and having fun. Even with the confinement stuff, a lot of people are going out and going on vacation, which makes the summertime also a very ungrateful time for devs that are working hard on the game. But the thing is, there's like, if you look at 200 people get in this way, for example, and now I bet that only 20 will stick around because the other ones are like, they'll play a bit, they'll either get interested and play a little bit more, and maybe after like 20 games they stop, or maybe they just play once and say, yeah, this is not what I wanted. I'm going to wait until a bigger patch comes out or it gets more refined. At least that's how I see it. And that's why you probably have like 1,000 keys given. And we only get to see like 100 people. I think the most I've seen so far was like 300. And probably by that time we had like only 600 keys going around. So like Slavex, I think, forgive me if I'm butchering your name, but like Slavex is saying, it's summer, it's a little bit ungrateful for games like this, and a lot of people just look at the game and feel that it's still unrefined, or either they want to stream it but they feel that there's not enough to show right now. And I think it's natural that we don't have as much players, even though we keep giving out more invites. But I don't know. You think like people are looking at the game and feeling it's not captivating, or if people like had so much expectations and now look at the final product. Well, I don't want to call it final product because it's not a final product, but they look at Artifact 2.0 and feel like, I waited 1 year for this. I don't know. I don't want to be like, I don't want to sound like a dick.
I don't think that's it. If I'm honest, I think a lot more people got the invite than what you're estimating. But I could be completely wrong. We don't have any information on this. But if I'm honest, I think a lot more people have gotten the key. And so probably the actual percentage of people in the game is probably much smaller. If I look at the reactions in our discourse, we had a lot of members that were super excited, waiting for the key, and they got the key, they played a little bit, and that's it. They're waiting for more stuff, you know? And I don't want to touch on rules, etc., etc. There is somewhat of like this paradoxical effect where people that really, really liked the 1.0 game maybe felt a little bit disappointed that some rules got changed, me included, and maybe that drives some of the long haulers away. And then on the other side of the coin, probably the game, despite all the changes, might not be exciting enough for new casuals. I don't know. This is just like complete theoretical extrapolation. I feel right now what I would really like to see would be Valve rallying internally and getting more people onto the dev team of Artifact, and maybe focusing on making big patches soon to get the features that people really, really like the constructed queues, the more art into the game, make the game look better. Just put more content in, you know, like you look at Dota and like what's going on with the battle pass for that game, and there's just like there's content just flowing everywhere, like, and there's a new summer event. The battle pass has tons of stuff. As soon as like they see that the number of players in the game is going down, or that the battle pass rewards are going down, they insert more content, they put more skins, they put more stuff. So I understand that the way that Valve works is like super liberal, and people choose to work on the projects that they want, which is like, it's like really, really cool. I really admire that. But I think right now Artifact is in a strange place where I think it maybe needs a little bit of extra love, if you know what I mean. Like it really, really feels like what they need is that. So I don't know, man. I would like them to see, and I really, really hope now that the surveys are going out and that we see these like tidbits of data mining efforts coming out and so on, that we are going to get a big patch. And hopefully that big patch will also like bring more motivated streamers and maybe like a constructed queue, maybe more community organized tournaments. And now the spectator client also works, etc., etc. So I think that's the type of things that we need to work on. And I'm also realistic. This is an old school type beta, and the Artifact team is presumably relatively small, so we have to give them time. But at the same time, it makes me kind of disheartened to see the numbers keep going down. So yeah,
I feel people are not used to old school betas. And
definitely,
I applaud Valve for doing it, but I don't think a lot of people are ready for this type of giving feedback and slowly seeing the game build piece by piece. And it can take months because people are used to betas where the game, you play a demo, okay? You're playing a demo of the finished game, and like normally you play a beta and like 3 weeks, not even more, the game's out. So whatever you played, it's not a beta, it's a demo from the game, or a controlled level from the game. And they don't give a shit about your feedback, because you can give feedback, but most likely whatever you're giving feedback, that build that you played already got fixed with the stuff that you gave feedback, and it's ready to ship. So this is different. I mean, every week we give feedback. Every week they like do small patches where they change and tweak stuff. So old school beta style. I think it's a lot of people just aren't ready for this. I'll be honest, even for me, I did a lot of reporting at the beginning. Sadly, my life has been more work than gaming and personal life, so I haven't been able to play much more than I wanted of Artifact. So when I got time, I just play a game and don't bother much with giving feedback, which in a way is kind of sad, since I'm in the bed. I should be trying to give it as much feedback as I can. But the thing is, at this point, I just feel that a lot of people aren't ready for this type of beta, and they just look at this and go like, but why should I like give feedback and detect bug fixes? This is supposed to be their job. I'm just here to play the game. Like, people aren't used to this. But to be honest, I think doing this is really cool, because now when you build the game, the community that keeps accompanying the game will make the game much, much better. But I don't know. Life is hard, man.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be nice to maybe like get the people who listen to the podcast. Let's get involved. Let's organize some tournaments. Let's do some stuff. Let's. It must be hard for the devs as well. Like I can understand also from their perspective how they decided to embrace this project, even though like there was a huge failure, and now is probably that difficult phase where they've been listening to us, they've been asking for feedback, they need to do a lot of work, and maybe they're seeing the numbers not go up as they would wish otherwise. So yeah, I think let's get together, guys. Let's try to do some stuff, and let's try to stream more, make more content, and see if we can get this game where we would like it to be. because I think we can also try to do that from our end. So yeah, I guess we end the episode on a bit of a lower note, but I don't know if you want to touch on anything. Otherwise, we try to keep it short.
I think we can keep it short. I just want to say that, I mean, people need to have a little bit of thick skin on these situations, and stuff gets bad before it gets better. So we had the game on phase 1. It's getting better, and we've been seeing that with the updates. So this is like it's just how it goes.
Yeah, so with that, we'll leave you guys for this week. Hopefully, well, actually, I will be traveling to Portugal for a couple of weeks on a holiday, so I'm not sure if there is any, if there's going to be any episodes for the next couple of weeks. And hopefully, if there's a big patch,
how long are you going to be here?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. So
okay.
So yeah, if there's some big patch, we'll try to record probably with some poor audio quality or whatever. Otherwise, maybe if it's a slow week, we'll skip, but we'll decide. In any case, guys, thank you so much for joining us live on Twitch. Otherwise, if you're watching us on YouTube or listening on the podcast, do subscribe, leave a comment and a review. And yeah, otherwise, join our Discord and let's try to support the devs into making this a winning project.
Also, to end on a high note, apparently one of the mods, Matt Bro, wants to organize a tournament, so we should eventually try and see if we can get in touch and see if we can make a cool tournament out of it.
Sure, Matt Bro, hit me up, and I'll be happy to help you organize and publicize it. All right. So, guys, thank you so much, and have a great week, and peace. See you around.
Yep. Go to the beach, catch some sun, go out of the house, but use a mask.
See you.
Later, guys.